Hi.
Hello. Okay. I got things ready.
I know. I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. Somebody tell me what to do.
Welcome back, I guess.
Thank you. And for those who don't know me, I'm Terry, since I haven't been here in years, it feels like.
It's been 3 weeks.
It feels like years.
It does. It does feel like years.
But hello, lovelies. Guys, hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the True Crime and Wine Time podcast. And we are all going to give me a lot of grace tonight because I'm way out of practice. Okay.
True.
And I think this is only my second or third time to have wine.
Mm.
And
Yay,
I'm
right.
on not my second glass. I drank half of the first glass and topped it off. But anyway, welcome to the podcast where we uncork the most jaw-dropping true crime stories while sipping something smooth to take the edge off. So guys, pour a glass, lock your freaking doors and your windows, and let's uncork the truth behind some of the darkest crimes.
Yes. Hello, friends, and thanks for watching us tonight. Now, before we begin, you guys, some of you know the drill. If you're watching us on YouTube, please hit that like button, bing, subscribe to our channel, and hit the notification bell so you never miss when we go live or drop an episode. You can also become a member, which comes with all sorts of exclusive perks. There's a lot to name. All you have to do is click the join button and pick which tier works best for you. And you guys, if you're listening to this as a pod, thank you. Thank you very much. But if you could please leave a rating and a review and even a download, as it helps our little pod get noticed. And if you want to see all the eye rolls and snarks, you should head over to our YouTube and watch the replay of all of our shows, I guess.
I mean, the eye rolls are epic,
So
except for people like to screenshot them and take snips. And then all of a sudden they show up on our thumbnails for shows like Tonight Show.
Yeah, our staff is something else, aren't they? Well, Terry, why don't you tell the fine folks this evening what we will be covering tonight?
Okay, I will. And I'm going to warn everybody, I am going to try to keep my emotions in check because tonight we are covering the case of Etan Patz, a boy whose 1979 disappearance captured the attention of the world. And in my opinion, I think it was the first missing person's child case that really went bars to wall nationwide
And global, even.
and global.
Yeah. Well, before we get into drinking tonight, Terry, you have something exciting coming up that you want to share. So please tell the good folks.
I do. Is it exciting? No, I do. I will be live in downtown Bastrop, Texas, which, guys, it's a little bedroom community outside of Austin. I want to say it's 18, 19 miles. I'll be there on September 13th at the CC Wine and Company. And guys, if you know anything about this case and you're a member or you live in the area, you're going to want to catch this. I'm going to be covering the Stacey Stites murder along with the controversy around the conviction of Rodney Reed. Now, this is a very small venue, so it's going to be an intimate conversation with friends and great wine, and there's going to be time for some Q&A. So it'll be similar to what we did in Ohio, where we got to talk with the audience. It's a smaller venue, and I am very, very excited.
I'm excited for you too. And if you can't make it to Bastrop and you're a member, this is one of those exclusive perks I was talking about. All of our live in-person shows are streamed live in real time to all of our members. So if you can't make it to Bastrop, Texas, join now and you'll be able to watch it with us on the 13th. And I am so excited to hear about this case. Terry's told me a little bit about it, and it's something. It is something. Well, before we get into what we're drinking, I think we should say hi to some people in the chat because it looks like people have missed you.
I see that Craig, I mean, did he come
Hello,
and visit
Craig.
y'all while I was gone, or did he only show back up because I'm here? Because we didn't tell anybody I was back
Um,
today since we weren't sure.
I don't know.
If my doctor's watching, I'm not here, okay?
Hello, Lady in
If
Gray.
for some reason the doctor's watching, I'm not here. It's your imagination. This is
You're
pre-recorded.
not lifting anything heavy on this show. It's fine. Hello,
Yes,
Captain.
it's,
Who did a fantastic job last week.
yes. I
Um,
mean,
for that show, he
Captain
did.
did a great job. Lady in Gray did a great job. I was worried that I was going to be fired from my own podcast because he did such a great job. The glass is under my 5-pound ratio, Captain, so I'm good.
Good evening, Teresa. Good evening. By the way, y'all, you all better buckle up and get some sleep tonight because it's going to be early tomorrow on Couch Court. But I'll talk about that later. Hi, Miss WTF. Hello. She's one of the amazing mods over on our Girl Miss Shorty's channel. So there's Elbow Feet.
Oh,
I told him about this case. I did not give him very much information about this case, but I was like, between this episode and the next episode, you're going to be pissed. So you're going to want to watch both of them. And I'm not going to tell you why. I'm not going to tell you why. So,
well, before we get into what we're drinking and stuff, just for those that have been following the Menendez stuff with us.
Oh, yeah.
They did go before the parole board today. Lyle and Eric won each day, but they have 4 months to give us answers.
Oh, wow.
But I have set an alert. And when we get the answers, and of course, Scott Hoover, our very good friend who's been on the show, I will ask him if he can give me a heads up because I'm sure he will find out about it. And I will at least do a short or a quick update on that. But the buzz from what I've heard this afternoon, it went very well today.
Oh, wow. Yeah, because the other brother's tomorrow, right?
Yes.
Yeah. We'll see. We'll see. Maybe we'll just have to have Mr. Scott Hoover back on the show.
I have to. And
our
I
new
won't get
bestie.
into it since I always make things long. But I find it interesting that one of the Menendez brothers, people made a big deal because he had to go to the hospital and they called him a wimp.
Oh, yeah, he did. Eric.
It was a kidney stone. And I believe I read it was like a 10 or an 11. The biggest I've done is an 8.5, which is the size of a 2.5 carat diamond.
Oh.
Imagine that coming out.
No, thank you.
So anybody who wants to give people crap for that,
no,
a little fleck of dust hurts.
Well, on that, why don't we just, Terry, what are you drinking tonight? Well, we're going to move along.
I'm drinking this. I am drinking one of my all-time favorites. Thanks to Double H, who gifted me a case for my birthday. I'm just now able to enjoy it. So I've opened the first bottle and I'm enjoying, it's a 2022. I thought it was a 23, but it's a 22 Napa Valley Estate Sauvignon Blanc. Ooh. And the tasting notes say it's an inviting Sauvignon Blanc with ripe green lime and grapefruit. I taste none of that in it.
Oh, okay.
It's just, if you like Sauvignon Blanc, it's just crisp. It's refreshing, and it literally quenches your thirst, which I find a lot of Sauvignon Blancs are a little tart. They don't. Yeah. This one doesn't. So I just say it's yummy.
Okay. That's a great review for a bottle. They may not appreciate it, but I do.
Well, I do. I'll send a clip to them since we're talking to them about doing a show there.
Well, tonight I'm finishing off this bottle of Bella Sera. No, I did not drink. I've been on this bottle for a couple of days, y'all. Okay, so, but I'm finishing out, and the bottle, it doesn't really say much, but it does tell me that Bella Sera apparently means beautiful evening in Italian. So clearly I am now fluent in Italian. So that's all I have to share about that.
But before we go past that, did I remember hearing that you drank the wine Love Spells before we did a show together?
I did. It was an emergency. It needed to happen, ma'am. Though I was talking to Elbow Feet because he said they don't sell it around here. And I was like, I think we're going to have to go up to Marion and buy. They had a fantastic wine. So I think one of these weekends he is off. We're going to go back up to Seven Blend Winery and get a bunch of wine.
Okay, because I was like,
good.
How did you love spell without me? I mean, I kind of feel like when Double H watches a show, like when we were watching Yellowstone and we weren't allowed to watch it without each other.
Mm.
I feel like you cheated on me.
Well, I did.
Just so you know, love spell. I thought you were supposed to be in love with me.
I did. I did. Don't worry. I'll get more.
If it was an emergency, if it was a wine emergency, it's okay.
It was a much.
If it
Yes.
was a wine emergency, no guilt.
You know my
Girl,
life.
you're
You
good.
know my life. Well, you guys, with that, let's get into the story of Etan Patz, shall we? I know it's spelled not how it sounds.
It
I know
is.
that. Just
It
to
is.
let everyone know. I learned that the other day. So I'm not having a good week on pronunciations. I guess I've just been replacing Terry
I
this
should
whole
say
time. So
everyone's
it's
aware
fine.
I never pronounce anything okay, and stop trying to steal my thing. But
But it is pronounced Etan
Eton.
Patz, in case nobody else knew that. And that's okay if you didn't know that. It is not obvious that that's how one would say it. So just putting
Now,
that out there.
I think the best way to start out the story is by you reading an excerpt from the book After Aton, the missing child case that held America captive by author Lisa R. Cohen, because it really captures the impact on society when shocking and horrific things such as this one that we're covering tonight happened. And guys, this was before we had the 24-hour
Yeah.
news feeds that we have today.
Yeah. Yeah. Let me read that to you all. So it says, like another iconic New York tragedy, Kitty Geneviese's brutal stabbing death in 1964, as neighbors turned a deaf ear to her anguished cries for help. The Pates case didn't touch most of us personally, yet it somehow went beyond the purely shocking to fundamentally alter our collective perceptions. And like events of more historical significance, the Kennedy assassination or September 11th, Etan Patz' disappearance off his own street in broad daylight is a moment frozen in time, a bridge leading us away from a more innocent world where such horror couldn't possibly happen to a darker one where it did. Now, today, our president doesn't travel unprotected in an open car like John F. Kennedy did in 1963. Americans stand acceptingly in long lines at the airport and uneasily scrutinize the faces around us. And when a scream is heard outside our window in the early morning hours, we think twice about ignoring it. 30 years after Etan vanished, his case has also changed our cultural landscape in ways that we take for granted about our children's safety, their independence, our peace of mind. That is so powerful and so true.
It is. And I will tell you, I've known this case, knew this case. I didn't know about that book
Mm.
until we started doing this. I actually ordered that book today
Oh, nice. You'll have to let
because
me know how. Yeah.
I
Sounds very
need to
good.
read it. Yeah, I'm like, I need to read it.
Also,
So,
before we are getting ready to go into the background here, we are going to drop a trigger warning.
yes.
Unfortunately, this case does talk about horrible things that happen to children, including sexual abuse. So this may not be the episode for you. And if it's not, that is quite okay. You can come back any other time. I mean, it's not going to be overloaded and super detailed, but we do want to preemptively say that it will be talked about quite a bit. So just want to put that out there for our listeners.
Yeah. And I just want to say, I will say, with this being my first case coming back, we couldn't have picked a better case. And
I
and
see
we
it
didn't,
for you.
I know, and we didn't know for sure I would be back today. I was
Yeah.
hoping. But I I am going to warn everybody up front, another trigger warning. Terry is still very emotional after going through surgery and everything. And just today, when I was rereading through the notes and going through everything, I ugly cried
Mm.
and I put on waterproof mascara.
Oh,
So
no.
I just want to let people know I am a little more emotional than usual. And I will say it was triggering to me because it reminded me of why I didn't like missing person cases.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
now I have the other side of the passion for missing person cases. But
All
Aton
right.
Kalil Patz was born October 9th, 1972 in New York City to Stanley and Julie Patz. Now, quickly, guys, before we go any further, I want to draw attention to the meaning of Etan's name. The name Etan is a Hebrew English name, and it's a variation of Ethan, which is what I think we're more familiar with, and it means enduring, firm, or strong in English. Now, in Hebrew, his middle name, Kalil, means crown or perfection,
Mm.
which I find cool. I think even despite his short life, Etan's legacy changed the way society and law enforcement treat child disappearances. And his legacy is an enduring crown that lives on today.
Oh God.
Okay. It
It's so
does.
it that tears me up just you saying it out loud. I've read it like a billion times,
It does.
and it's just so. Oh, what a cutie pie!
I'm not. Oh, thank you on top for the super chat. Waterproof
Thank you.
mascara. It's the stuff that makes the eyelashes black, but when you cry and you ugly cry, it doesn't run down your face and make you look like you've been out drinking all night.
Thank you for the super chat.
Thank you
on
for
top.
that.
We're also dated for a
But
matriarchal fund.
there's
mind.
not often that you look at somebody's name and you think, "Oh my God, how did the universe make that name?" They didn't know this. I mean, they may have known crown or perfection, but they didn't know what it would mean this many years later.
Yeah.
Now,
Sure.
Etan's father, Stanley, was a professional photographer. And sadly, a collection of photographs that he had taken of his son would be used later in the search for Etan. I mean,
I know. Oh, it's going to be a long case, you guys.
it's going to be a lot.
Now, Etan was the middle child of the Patz family. He had an 8-year-old sister, Shira, and a little brother, Ari, who was 2 at the time of Etan's disappearance. Oh, is he wearing a Playboy bunny shirt?
He is, but that was cool back in the late 70s and 80s. Remember,
Okay.
I had Sean Cassidy on my underwear and it was his face, and nobody thought that was inappropriate.
Well,
So a
okay.
Playboy bunny on a child back then was not inappropriate.
I mean, yeah, okay.
Today, probably not the best idea.
Probably not the best, but it was different times. Everybody needs to remember for sure during this story, it was different times.
Different times.
All right. So they also said Etan was said to be an easy middle child. He actively tried to please, which was a refreshing change of pace after Shira. But he knew the secret ways to annoy his sister, as only a sibling can. My younger brother, who's staying with us, can totally verify that. He was also both protective and jealous of his little brother, Ari. Now, Etan was imaginative and full of stories, and he dreamed up adventures with his imaginary playmate, Johnny France America, which is such a funny and awesome name for an imaginary friend. Like, that's
that
amazing.
Photo right there.
I know.
Y'all know that photo just kills me.
Don't worry, y'all. We'll be getting mad through as we'll get real mad the more we tell the story. Don't worry. We're gonna feel all the emotions.
Yeah. Okay. Now, I think everybody needs to remember this next part. We need to remember what it was like in the 70s and that things were different. I mean, I was born in 70. I know things were different, but I will tell you with revisiting this case, when you guys decided that we should do it, my first reaction wasn't great. I had a lot of nasty things to say, like, how could they? What kind of parents were they? And then I was like, okay, Terry, it was the 70s.
Different times, and I'll be honest, I can't imagine even thinking about taking what we're going to talk about next into consideration, let alone in New York City. But it was actually fairly normal. So no victim blaming here.
No,
okay,
because
guys, it was a different time.
We got to remember, it didn't become an issue until it became an issue.
Well,
I mean,
I mean, this kind of
when my
stories
mom
have
was
always
9,
happened. I
my
just
mom
think,
babysat when she was 9. It's now
oh,
illegal to leave your 9-year-old home alone.
yeah.
So, I mean, it was just different times.
Okay. Well, what's next, Terry?
So, Etan frequently, and I will just tell you guys, I so remember me doing this in the 70s, asked his parents to let him walk alone to school, to the school bus stop, because he used his 6-year-old logic that, well, my friends do it and they're
Mhm.
all fine. What's the problem, mom and dad? So, and with his first grade year ending soon, he decided he was like, okay, time's running out here, guys. I I need to do this. I
Yeah.
need to do this. And so he asked his parents to let him walk to the bus stop.
Yeah. Recently, due to a busing strike, Aton had been walked to and from school by Sandy Harmon, who was hired by the Pates to do that. And Stan and Julie, his parents, were uncertain about Aton walking to the bus stop alone, but they eventually agreed. Now, there was no specific moment when they decided. It occurred rather gradually. And his parents considered that this experience could help him gain confidence, as they had observed both cautiousness and curiosity in his behavior. I mean, okay, I
He was
guess.
6. He was 6. I mean, he was 6. Now, Atom was especially afraid of getting lost because, guys, once at the age of 5, he got stuck in the elevator as his mother exited, leaving him briefly separated and terrified until they were reunited. Guys, can you imagine? I mean, I lost my kids in the store, but can you imagine the elevator doors closing and you're stuck in the elevator and you're not with your mom and you're 5?
Mm. Oh, yeah, for sure.
I mean, let's just think about it. And his mom, Julie, said she saw the terrified look on his face as he realized what was happening. And he screamed until the elevator brought him back up to her. And
Oh,
guys, just thinking about that makes me think and realize just how frightened Aton must have been when he was taken.
yeah. Now, the morning of, excuse me, pardon me. The morning of May 25th, 1979, 6-year-old Etan Patz was so excited and probably proud that finally his mission was coming to fruition. He's a big kid now. He even remembered to bring the dollar bill that he'd earned helping the neighborhood handyman. We'll get to that at a different point.
Yeah.
Despite his mother's advice to put it in his pocket, though, he chose to carry it in his hand, planning to buy a soda at the bodega before catching the school bus. Oh.
I mean, mom, if I put it in my pocket, my friends won't see that I have it. And I can't show that I have it and show how mature I am.
And $1 is a lot of
I
money
mean,
in
that was a
1979
lot
for
of
a
money.
kid. Like a lot. So,
So I am telling him, Aton, no shame, honey. I would have
mm,
done the same. No shame. Um, Now, just before 8 that morning, Julie noted it was time to leave for the bus. Aton walked ahead of her down 3 flights of stairs to the door, waiting for her to unlock the door because, guys, he was still too short to reach the lock to unlock the door.
yeah.
I mean,
So
is
cute.
that not just precious? Just precious. Now, Aton left his parents' Soho apartment at 113 Prince Street by himself for the first time. Now, guys, it just hit me. He lived on Prince Street and his middle name means crown.
I did not put that together.
It just hit. See, add wine. It just hit my brain.
Did not put that together. It's interesting.
Sorry, there was that, shiny ball. Now, he was planning to walk 2 blocks to board his school bus at West Broadway in Prince Street. Now, this is normally about a 4-minute walk for a kid. He was wearing a black future flight captain pilot cap, a blue corduroy jacket that he had inherited from his best friend, Jeff Limbeck, blue jeans and blue sneakers with fluorescent stripes. Guys, we'll find out he never got to the bus.
Yeah. Again, guys. Oh, look at that cute little hat. Oh. It's 1979, and this was fairly normal behavior, allowing young children to travel without adults, particularly to school bus stops or to schools themselves. Okay. And it was Etan's case and others, such as Adam Walsh in 1981, when parents began to change this practice. We talked a little bit about Adam Walsh's father, John Walsh, the host of America's Most Wanted, in our two-parters episode about John List last month. So if you haven't listened to that, go listen to that.
I mean, everybody needs to remember if you weren't raised in those times in the 70s. I mean, I lived in Houston. It wasn't New York. I rode my bike in 79. I was 9 at the time. I rode my bike probably 2 miles to go to the little corner store to get my mom cigarettes. I mean, it was a thing.
Crazy times.
It was a crazy time. So no judgment on anyone. Now, Etan's mom, Julie, had spent the day preparing for a family trip scheduled for the upcoming Memorial weekend. And she had asked Etan, and my thing my mom told me when I ask you, I'm telling you.
Right.
So I want to say Etan's mom told him to come directly home from school to help her.
Mhm.
Now, he was expected to return from the bus stop with neighbor Karen Altman, whose daughter attended the same school as Etan.
By 3:30 p.m., Etan had not returned, and Julie grew concerned. With school buses just back in use after a driver's strike, she thought, okay, there might be a delay. That stuff is a nightmare, even where I live. So can't wait for busing next Wednesday. It's going to be great. So she watched from the front windows, hoping to spot her children coming up the block.
Now, Julie called Karen Altman, whose windows faced the Pates loft, to check if, Etan was with her. Karen said no. And she was thinking he might have gone to a friend's house. Sounds normal to me. Now, while talking to Julie, Karen asked her daughter Chelsea if she knew where Etan went after school.
Yeah. And then you guys, you know what she says? Etan wasn't in school today. That's what Chelsea had to say. And at school, Etan's teacher had noticed his absence, but she did not report it to the principal. So,
I mean, I know it was the 70s, but I do remember my parents getting calls if I wasn't at school. So I don't know if that was just Houston, but I want to know why the school didn't call to say, hey, Etan's not here today. Want to check in, something.
Yeah.
My school did. Maybe they just knew I was a rugrat and that I was a problem child.
I mean, maybe. And unfortunately, the Pates had to do the thing that all parents fear the most and report their very young and vulnerable son missing in a city of millions. The fear. I could not even imagine that.
I can't either. And especially, it wasn't a common thing back then. So Detective Bill Butler received a call at 5:15 p.m. and arrived at Prince Street with his partner by 5:30. They were then joined by 3 other detectives. Stan showed Etan's photos to the officers, and Julie described, the day's event. This is what happened in the morning, yada, yada, yada. And it was a story, sadly, she would repeat many, many times in the following days and years.
Yeah.
That is a 70s suit. Just saying, Bill. Just saying. I love the, 70s and 80s, but we don't need to bring that back.
Well, while he empathized with the mother's duress, cases of children failing to return from school on time were commonly due to truancy or extended play in the park. It's never really that big of a deal, apparently. Now, a children's temporary absence might be overlooked by peers' parents during routine activities such as preparing dinner. And typically these scenarios resolved within hours when the child reappeared. So they kind of thought, this is probably what's going to happen. However, confirmation from the school that Etan was officially marked absent suggests that the matter could not be dismissed as a simple oversight or miscommunication. This was the real deal.
I'm sorry to throw us off track, but Kelly P, Aquanet, what I wouldn't give to have Aquanet again. I had the biggest and best hair with Aquanet, and I am the reason that the ozone is dying. Just had to say that. When I saw Aquanet, I was like, oh my God, there are some days I would love for that. Now, the police needed to confirm Etan's absence from school, but guys, no one was available on Friday evening of Memorial Day weekend. But this officer was a thinker. He realized, oh, I know the custodian. And he, called him up. They went to the school. I mean, that's a good police, that's good policing, as they say. Now, at the PS3 Annex, police station annex, a police officer checked school records to verify Etan's absence before requesting backup. Now, the search for Etan began 10 hours after he was last seen, and they used nearly 100 police officers. They even used bloodhounds.
Mm-hmm. And the bloodhounds quickly moved between the bus stop and Pate's loft before returning, sparking unproven theories that Etan missed the bus, returned home, couldn't reach the door lock, and had wandered off. The dogs then searched nearby SoHo blocks, including Eva Deli, Bruno Bakery, and the local fruit stand. However, the animals, the bloodhounds, didn't signal anything useful, but they're still good boys.
I say, but we also need to remember it was 1970.
They're still good
didn't
boys.
have the technology. They didn't get the training they get nowadays, and they were good boys.
They're still good boys.
They're still good boys. Okay, something just hit my brain, and somebody will tell me in the chat, what was the dog's name on Dukes of Hazzards? Because when that photo popped up, that's who I thought of. Roscoe Pico's dog from Dukes of Hazzards, the bloodhound.
Oh, Terry, I've missed you.
I know, I'm sorry.
Your tangents.
But that dog picture. But there was, at first, there was hope that Etan had simply run away or was with a friend. Now, guys, I have to be honest, and I say to this day that statement that he had run away bothers me, okay? I get not wanting to think that. You don't want to think the worst, but to automatically jump to that really bothers me because we know it still happens today.
Oh, look, apparently we say it's Flash. By we, I mean producer Amy, who's backstage.
What's Flash?
The dog.
Oh, the dog's name is Flash. Okay.
Oh my goodness, woman.
That is a weird name. Okay, but that name, when you say Flash, never would I have thought that was the dog's name.
I mean, I don't know.
It did not connect in my brain. So I thought Flash was Terry jumping over and asking the dog's name.
We'll call you Flash.
It's my first day back, guys. People have grace. Okay?
That's fine. That's fine.
Have grace. Now, what I was saying, though, I'm on board if you say, oh, my son probably went to a friend's house. But don't instantly jump to they ran away, because we still see that in today's time. And with doing midday missing, it goats me, okay? Mm-hmm. It just pisses me off. Now, after an overnight search by police, including a helicopter and harbor patrol units along the Hudson River from Greenwich Village all the way to Lower Manhattan, guys, optimism faded because there was no sighting. Now, in law enforcement, if you follow true crime, you know that there's time markers like 9 hours, 12, or 48. They're crucial, okay? After 48 hours, recovery chances decrease sharply. But guys, for a young child, 24 hours is the marker, okay? So for getting through the night often signals the start of facing reality.
Yeah.
And they didn't find out for how many hours? I mean, so it's...
Yeah, it's not great. It is.
Thank you, Captain. I'm glad somebody loves me and missed me. And yes.
I miss being able to be on the bottom and be the top half of Cabin's
Oh, you like to be the bottom.
face. Anyway, so rain started drizzling on the searchers, and by 1:15 a.m., when bloodhounds were requested from upstate, any traces of Etan, his prints, or his scent were being washed away because, of course, that would happen then. Now, back at the Pates loft, officers compiled names to identify possible connections while reviewing neighborhood maps. Now, the phone rang frequently, and access to local properties was limited by holiday closures. Because remember, y'all, it's Memorial Day weekend and businesses being closed. Authorities concentrated their efforts on residents and workers in the vicinity, particularly individuals who had knowledge of Etan and his family. So,
Yeah.
it's not looking great.
And if you remember correctly, or if you were a Sex and the City fan like I was, people leave New York and go to the Hamptons. They go other places because it's brutal in New York. New York kind of shuts down Memorial Weekend.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So now the next morning, just 3 blocks away, Jack Limbeck watched his sleeping son, Jeff, waiting for him to wake up. You know, Jeff was Etan's best friend, and his name was still sewn into the jacket Etan wore the day before when he went missing. Etan's mother hadn't yet changed the name inside the jacket after getting it from Jack. The boys often swapped clothes between each other and were nearly indistinguishable. I can't even talk.
Indistinguishable.
You could not tell them apart, okay? Except, sadly, Jeff was asleep nearby.
I mean, look at that picture. He looks
I mean, I'm saying they're
well, like
I know it's
just from the side
indistinguishable,
profile.
thank you, but I mean, they could have been twins, Irish
Really?
twins.
Yeah. So Jeff opened his eyes, and Jack hesitated to explain, not wanting to worry his son, because how do you have that conversation? How do you? Still, he realized Jeff might have answers and decided he had to act. After a few minutes, he quietly informed Jeff that Etan hadn't returned home last night. Jeff looked anxious, and Jack said, "Listen, we'll look for him now." And the 6-year-old remained still momentarily before rising and proceeding towards the kitchen. And he said, "We have to bring him some food and water. He'll be hungry." I hate that. That's so sweet. So sweet.
Yeah. Word spread about Etan's disappearance to SoHo residents spending the long weekend at home, prompting broader people getting together and helping. The SoHo Cooperative Play Group, which had planned its annual picnic that afternoon, quickly pivoted and they became the Etan Patz Action Committee. I mean, they flipped that switch.
They sure did. Without access to Stan Pates's photos, about 20 people independently created and distributed flyers with a sketch of Etan, photocopying thousands and posting them around town or handing them on the street, which is what you love to see a community do. Oh, thank you, On Top X, for the super sticker. Thank you. You're being so generous tonight. Thank you so much.
Are. And I just have to
everything.
say, I can't see your face, your profile picture, but it looks like very clear. It looks very similar to my tattoo on my back. So
it's a tiger looking thing with wings, it looks like.
Oh, so I have a heart with wings that's got stuff on top. Okay, but I'm looking at it without my glasses on, and I'm like, okay, maybe we could be friends.
Well, it's some kind of big cat with wings. On Top X, tell us more about your profile picture.
Yes, please, in the chat, tell us more about that. Now, law enforcement officers and local residents, they were participating in the search, were now provided with photos from Stan, including that picture. And guys, you got to remember, he's a photographer. You don't normally get that. I mean,
yeah,
that's a really good photo.
It's such a good photo.
It is.
Because, many photos of missing children are very difficult to identify. Often they are unclear images from photo booths or outdated school portraits that may not accurately reflect the child's current appearance, because children literally change within a couple of months.
Overnight, I
Overnight.
think.
I
I
mean,
think overnight.
I know little Llama. He's gone and it's dad's for a week and he comes back and he's like 3 inches taller all the time. And I'm like, what is
Yeah.
happening? So that is a problem with missing children. Now, not Etan Patz, obviously. Etan smiled in his father's portraits, and his hair detailed by Stan's camera work, and his eyes just clearly sparkling. These photographs rendered his presence more apparent than that of many other missing children. I mean, these were going to get people's attention
I mean,
because they're very clear, especially in 1979. Okay.
no, but you can also I see a little bit of personality in this picture.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. So, but I mean, to think of your dad, as a parent, as a dad, you're a photographer, you take these pictures of your children.
Mm-hmm.
Never did you imagine what that picture would be used for.
No, side quest here. Your show Midday Missing that I watch all the time, they'll describe what that person was wearing. And there have been many a times where I've sat here, when my son's at school being like, I have no idea what he wore to school today. And I even made him change his clothes and I have no idea. Oh, anyway.
I know. And it's something that you don't think about, just like with Etan's case. Nobody really thought about what we needed to do when a child went missing because it didn't happen. You had to do it because something pivoted that. And unfortunately, all of us go about and live our lives until something happens to us. And that's why we do give tips at the end of Midday Missing to try, to give tips. But you're right. If you ask me right now today, what even my husband wore today, and we're in the same house and he was in the office next to mine, I have no idea.
No idea.
So I have no idea. Not saying that makes any of us bad parents or bad people. It makes us humans.
Yeah. I mean,
it makes us humans. Now, Julie and Stan stayed at their home. Okay. They were constantly fielding all of these urgent calls and hoping that Etan would walk through the door. Okay. Now, in today's time, social media would have thrown them to the wolves for staying home and not being out searching. Guys, we didn't have cell phones back then. It was the 70s. We didn't have all that. Now, as Etan's absence grew longer, suspicion shifted towards foul play, prompting police to closely monitor both parents separately and assign each a detective when they left the apartment. Guys, let's throw no shame at the police. You have to start inwards and work outwards.
That's true for all sorts of cases, not just children,
everything.
But usually children for sure, but all cases.
Or wives go missing.
I mean, statistically, there's a reason why. Now, at first, detectives considered the Patz to be possible suspects, and Julie and Stan understood that law enforcement were playing the percentages. They knew that, of course, they were going to be looked at first, and they knew the thoughts of the official, right? Quote, parents kill their children. That's how most of the cases end, and that's freaking true, unfortunately. Still to this day, 40 years later, I read about them all the time, and it makes me so angry. But anyway, Julie was also aware that she was the last known person to see Etan alive. Another big check mark against you. Now, Julie and Stan also understood that with no other evidence, they both had to be suspects. And they considered this to be the least of their problems, though, and they didn't show any resentment to the officers at all. As a matter of fact, they were pretty much an open book to them.
I will say, if you go look at some of the old footage today, I mean, the grace that they give, I mean,
that is true.
I don't know They have thrown no shade, no judgment. I mean, yeah, they are
I do
amazing.
find the Pates to be very admirable
Mhm.
couple after everything they've dealt with for the last 40 years.
As I said, that's what I
So,
mean, the grace they gave. They never
mhm.
once said, "Oh, if police would have done more, if this would have been done." They I don't know how they did it, but I am in admiration of them.
I mean, we're going to disagree on things later in the
Right.
next episode, but either way, I mean, you can believe whatever
Well,
you want to believe when you're in their position.
as they say, especially in the
So,
early days,
yeah,
we're in
for
the
sure.
early days of the disappearance because perception changes as time goes on,
Right. No.
right?
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
now the couple spent most of their time fielding phone calls, hoping to hear anything that might help them find their precious Aton. You know, there was always the chance that one of these phone calls would be that magic call. They were hoping for a ransom call,
Hmm.
but the majority of the estimated 500 calls a day were useless. They
Hmm.
were very nonspecific. And guys, it could have been anyone. But I want to say, we tell everybody on Midday Missing, if you know something, even if it's a rumor and still call it in. So even
Yeah.
though someone called in and said, I saw a blonde kid with a woman, I saw a boy with an older black man, it's okay if that's all you saw. It might connect to another tip from somebody else and they be like, oh crap, we've got these two people. They saw that at this address and this address
Right.
and they piece it together. So I just want to
Mhm.
make sure.
I think as long as it's done with good intentions of
Exactly.
thinking you're helping as opposed to wasting people's freaking time because you have your
Yeah.
own issues that you need attention. Those are two very different things. And I don't think there's anything wrong with the first one being like, I don't know,
Yeah.
maybe it'll help, maybe it won't. But, some
Do
people
it.
are awful. So, but
I
these people
agree.
are
But
not
if
that way.
it's done authentically in the right thing, do it because you
Hmm.
never know.
Right. Now, of course, some sightings accurately described Aton coming from everywhere in the city and then beyond, placing him in 50 different places all at the same time. Then there were the awkward soulless calls as well, and the occasional vindictive frame jobs to falsely accuse an enemy, because those people are the ones I was talking about, and they suck. They
They do.
suck. We do not like them. Boo on you.
And they're still out there today. They were there in the 70s and they're still
Sure
there
are.
today. But you also, when you look at Aton's picture, I could step outside and see 10 boys and they would similarly look the same, right?
Mhm. Oh, yeah. I think and children do look the
Children, I
same,
mean, they
okay?
do.
They don't have as distinct
Right. They're still
facial
growing
features
and
yet,
changing.
because yeah, exactly, they're still growing, so, like, you could easily think 5 or 6 kids look the same. I once had a time where I was at a store with my kid, and it was a different kid that was not my kid, and I was like, "Oh, wait, never mind, you just go back over there, you're not mine," because from behind, they
It's
obviously looked the
exactly.
same, and it was just like a quick, like, and then I was like, "Oh, you're not mine."
You're not mine. Right. Now, in addition, guys, their other children weren't even at home. Okay. Neither parent spent any time with Ari or Shira the whole weekend. And the days to come were no better. Okay. The two siblings, rightfully so, in my opinion, were being, sent off to neighbors and
Mhm.
friends because they were trying to shield them. Okay. All the while, Stan and Julie answered more questions. They never planned to have to go through this, but they were being asked, do you know this guy? Did Aton know him?
Mhm.
Could this have happened? So they were trying to protect their other children.
Yeah. And after Memorial Day weekend, when the local residents started returning to town and becoming more aware of the recent developments, this led to an increase in the search party sizes. So uh, it is a couple days later, but more people came out for the cause. Community members gathered on the street below 113 Prince and questioned people passing by and engaging both acquaintances and unfamiliar individuals. They were out in full force, which is again amazing, because this was not the time where there was social media. It's a completely different
Well, but you
world.
knew your neighbors
But
growing
you knew your
up.
neighbors. Yeah.
I knew all of my neighbors. They
Even
knew
in New York.
me. I mean, even in New York, they knew. And so that's the difference.
Hmm.
Now, the Soho residents now felt like they were banding together because they were fighting an unseen enemy, guys. And sadly, it was with the understanding that this could have happened to any of them. They weren't just looking for Etan, they were looking for themselves or their children.
Yeah. Now, the search for Etan moved block by block, spreading and growing. The police examined City Hall's building blueprints for guidance, but faced challenges since most of the structures were century old former factories that were not intended for homes. The buildings were structural mazes, and a methodical sweep would be unworkable, according to law enforcement. Let's just put that out there. According to law enforcement at the time.
And now I bet you if we Googled those locations, those have now been turned into loft apartments.
Oh, they already were loft apartments.
I know, but like, what do you call them? Because they were the former
That was their
factories and
loft
stuff.
at Purchase Cabin? Like a modern day?
That
Or
was
when
at
they bought
Purchase?
it? Oh, at Purchase. Never mind. I know what
Oh,
that
okay.
word
I was
means.
like
Meaning
going,
when they bought it, that's what it looked like.
okay,
A
now
hot
that
mess.
makes more sense to me because I'm like going, oh,
I know.
okay.
Because we see the price on that, which will come next episode. So never
So
mind.
they turned it into the loft. It was still the old factory
Correct.
indoor
Yes.
setting. Okay,
Yes.
because I was going, they had a long way to go.
Yeah,
A long way
that's
to
how
go.
I interpret that. So,
Yeah. Now, law enforcement spent thousands of hours looking for Etan. Divers plunged into the East River searching for his remains. I mean, they were following up a tip from a psychic. So things that they probably wouldn't normally look at, they looked at. Leads were chased as far as Israel, but
wow.
no arrest came from those tips.
No. And when he still wasn't located, Pate's face graced the side of a milk carton. One of the first to do so after Johnny. I meant to look up how to pronounce his last name because I always say it wrong. Is it
Is it
Ghosh? I
I
think
think
it's
I think it's good.
Ghosh. I, I'm very paranoid after pronouncing everything wrong this week. I'm pretty sure it's Ghosh. My brain tells me Ghosh, so we're going to go with that. I apologize if it's not. I mean, no disrespect. But between Johnny Ghosh and Eugene Martin, who both went missing after being abducted on their paper routes in the early 1980s. His photos were also projected on screens in Times Square, you guys,
Gotcha.
which I don't know how I feel that if you knew what New York Times Square looked like in the 70s, you'd be like, oh, I don't know if we need a picture of the kid up there, but they
I
did it.
agree,
And
but
that's amazing.
if you stop and think about it, maybe you want it up there because of the type of people that were hanging around in that area at the time.
We'll get there.
Yeah. So, still with no sign of Etan, more attention began to focus on missing children as a whole, especially after the abduction of Adam Walsh from Hollywood. He was abducted from a shopping mall in Hollywood, Florida, just
Mhm.
2 years later, which gained national attention
Yeah.
and went on to create a whole.
Whole thing. I would love to do an episode on the Walshes. It's tough. It's so hard.
Yeah,
But again,
that
John
one's a
Walsh is
hard
a
one.
hero and I love him.
I do too.
What an
I
amazing, amazing man he is. And nobody will change my mind. Anyway, so 4 years in and still no Pates. And with thousands more children being added to missing persons list, President Ronald Reagan at the time designated May 25th, 1983 as National Missing Children's Day, which was marking the anniversary of Pate's disappearance and further pushing the issue into the national spotlight. And so we still celebrate that to
Mhm.
this day. As a matter of fact, this year, 05252025. Isn't that crazy?
It is. Yeah,
Mhm.
just
Now, that is what happened during that. Now, 6 years went by, and Etan's body had not been found, and no arrest had been made. Assisting United States Attorney Stuart R. Grabois received the case in 1985. That was the year I was born, and identified Jose Antonio Ramos. Where's the picture? Oh, that's Stuart. Never mind. I thought that was going to be Ramos. Anyway, he identified Jose Antonio Ramos, a convicted child sexual abuser whose former girlfriend, Sandy Harmon, who had worked for the Patzes, walking Etan to and from school during a bus strike, as the primary suspect. This is important. As you see, I'm getting worked up.
Very important.
You'll
I'm
see
still in
why.
shock.
You'll see why.
1985?
Yeah.
I didn't realize I was that much older.
Girl, I'm going to be 40 in like a month.
I could literally be your mom. I live in the South. I could have been on Teen Moms.
I suppose that's the case, but you
Yeah.
are younger than my mom. She wasn't a teen mom, but
No, your mom. We still got to talk about those cheesecakes. But anyway,
she called me today and we talked about it actually, but never mind. We'll talk about that after the show.
I'm going to just say, guys, anyone who's watching this, I am trying to work a deal so that all of you, if you can come to our live shows, figure out a way that you can taste a little bit of Mama Llama's cheesecake, Kevin. And I'm very picky about my cheesecake.
It's amazing.
And it was heaven. So now let's talk a little bit about Jose Ramos.
Okay.
Because we have to, unfortunately. And guys, this is going to make me real emotional. He was born in the Bronx on July 23rd, 1943. I share a birthday with this guy.
Ew.
Yeah, just saying. I don't like this. Okay.
Not the year. Just
not
let's
the
clarify. You're not like 80 or 90, however many years old, 80 years old. Just the day and month, not the year.
The date. But I mean, I'm sorry, I don't like that at all. But he was the oldest of 5 boys in a Puerto Rican family. Now, in 1960, he dropped out of high school and he joined the Navy, where he served during the Cuban Missile Crisis. Now, he says he was given 3 medals for his service. But guys, that claim could not be verified. There was no way, no verification, media, nobody could verify that. He retired from the Navy and said he worked for a New York ad agency, earning big money. Also, another claim that can't be verified. Okay. Because, guys, if he was an advertising executive, it would be hard to explain how he spent the early 70s living like a nomad. He was traveling the country, befriending parents of young sons. And his rap sheet grew quite extensively. Burglary and battery in San Diego, vagrancy in Baton Rouge, and contributing to the delinquency of minors in Anniston, Alabama, and exposing his person in New Orleans.
His person.
And guess what? Those claims are verified.
Boom.
Now, don't get mad at me, Llama. Please don't come through the screen. I need to say, exposing his person does not necessarily mean what we think it means, because when I was 16 in Austin, Texas, I was down from Houston visiting. I had to take a little wee. I went behind a bush and the cops ticketed me for exposing myself.
Oh, so indecent exposure.
So yeah, I'm not saying that's like the case with him.
Isn't the same.
But you know me, I always try to be. It could have been something as simple as taking a whiz. His case, I don't think so.
Right.
I don't. Oh, man. But let's not be too judgmental. You know, he's innocent until proven guilty on that charge.
Well, sure. Now, in 1978, the year before Etan Patz's disappearance, Ramos was hospitalized for a few months in Bellevue Mental Hospital. It might sound familiar to some of you. It's in New York. He claimed that he had symptoms of confusion, disorientation, and auditory hallucinations. He also said that it was these voices that would tell him to harm others. Okay, that's great. Great. Good stuff.
Yes. I mean, yeah. So now, 1978-ish, 79-ish, Ramos met Sandy Harmon, the woman that we talked about earlier, who was hired by the Pates family to walk their kids to school. They met at a welfare office. Okay. The couple, I mean, their love language was different than any love language I know. They would go dumpster diving together for items that could be resold.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm going to call it early day thrifting. Okay.
I mean, yeah.
Nothing wrong with it.
Nothing wrong with
But
it.
Sandy was in the Pates home on the day of Etan's disappearance. And guys, we also need to know she would house sit for the family when they were away. So she had keys to the house on Prince Street.
Yeah. So Sandy would go on to say, quote, when I met Michael, which is what Jose called himself, he was a funny, comical type, she continued. We slept together, but sex wasn't the main part of our relationship. Wonder why. When I moved to the Lower East Side near 14th Street, he got a place in a tenement near Tompkins Square Park. My son really seemed to enjoy this guy's attention, and I never saw my son afraid of Jose Ramos. So I allowed my son to stay over at his apartment so I could have a night off.
Yeah, we'll get back to that. But I just have to tell on top, I think all of my exes are in the Bellevues in Texas
Oh, are they in multiple states? Because
from
I was not
losing my
familiar
life.
with that.
Yeah.
Oh, I did
The
not know
most
that.
popular, I think, is in New York, but there was
Oh,
small ones. But they
oh,
would like
the
call
more you
it
know,
Bellevue
guys.
Hills or Bellevue Mountain kind of
Oh,
thing. But yeah, but I would like to
I'd
think
only
all of
ever
my
heard of that one.
exes are there from losing my love as well. Sorry, I
Oh,
need a little lightheartedness because it's about get a little uncomfortable
yeah.
for me. So I'm sorry, but I'm trying to find a little bit of lightheartedness. During Aton's disappearance, Ramos Ramos was still selling his dumpster diving finds. But what is really interesting, guys, is shortly after Aton's disappearance, was able to go on a 22-day trip to Europe. Okay. He told a friend that he had $10,000, which, guys, that is a shit ton of money in 79. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
that's like 45,000 in today's money. That is a buttload of money that, guys, I want to know who here thinks he earned that kind of money from finding stuff in the dumpsters.
Not me. That's who.
I
Not
mean,
me.
unless somebody
Suspicious as
accidentally
shit.
threw away a diamond watch or something, maybe.
I don't know about that. That's suspicious as shit. But you know what? 22 days in Europe doesn't cure psychosis. No, it does not. He still heard the voices, and it would be those voices that would drive him to live in isolation. When he got back, for a while, he lived in the woods, but he eventually found refuge in a drain pipe in the Bronx. Yeah. Yeah. Ramos didn't really come on anyone's radar until I don't know how this is possible. He didn't really come on anyone's radar until 1982 when he was arrested for allegedly trying to lure two young boys into a drainage tunnel in the Bronx that he lived in for a time. And no, it was not like in a cool Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle way. It was not like that. No.
I'm a Ninja Turtle fan. I know that one.
Right? Also, Do you think that Pennywise from It was based on this guy? Because it is very much giving me those vibes, which is terrifying. I'm just going to put my hand over my screen. It is.
I will just tell you, I hate Pennywise.
Mhm.
I hate all clowns.
Yeah.
And
we can
let's
take
remove
down.
that photo and let's just get rid of that. I would prefer to think of the drainage pipes and sewers in New York to be where Splinter, Michelangelo, Raffaella, Donatello, and Leonardo hung out.
Well, fun fact, Cap'n looked it up today when she saw my joke. And well, I don't know if I'd call it a joke. It was more of a shower thought, I guess. Like, it turns out that Stephen King wrote it between 1981 and 1984 or 5. I don't know where she wrote that. I have to look it up. So it could be
that inspiration.
Could be. Could be. I don't know. It's wild. Anyway, again, sorry to interrupt, guys, but this part is so hard. We're just trying. We're doing our best.
What is up with Cap'n?
We love her and everything that she does.
Pennywise is not funny and he's not cute. But yes, guys, I give the trigger warning again. Just, to everybody, it gets a little more triggering.
Right. Tell us more about his weird place.
Now, his drain pipe was weirdly decked out, guys. I mean, I get making the most of your space. I love when people do that. But guys, he had a bed, a nightstand, and a bunch of religious items like Bibles and crucifix inside that drainage pipe.
How did it not get wet? I don't understand how drainage pipes work.
Apparently I don't either, because I'm like, how did you get the bed? I have so many questions, but it's okay. Guys, he also had decorated it with peace signs and the Rolling Stones tongue logo. Okay. Now, he did have some power, some electricity down there, and it was enough to run a lamp. I mean, he does get, from me, kudos for making the best of his living situation and being creative.
DIY.
That is as much as he's getting from me. Okay.
That drain pipe would go for like $1.4 million on House Hunters.
Yeah. I'm assuming the drainage pipe was big enough that the bed wedged in, that the water went underneath him. So it was kind of like sleeping out on the water. That's what I'm thinking. Yeah. But that little bit of light that he had, he gained that because he tapped in and was stealing the city's power supply. I mean, he's creative. So and as I said, I will give him creativity, and that's about it.
Yeah, I don't have much to give this guy. So unfortunately, though, there were also some other creepy things in this drain pipe makeshift home of his, such as children's toys and photos of young boys, most at the age of 10 or under. Yeah. The photos were taken in one of those dime store strip machines that will print out 4 in a row, like this picture here. I don't know how many of the young kids see these anywhere.
They still have them.
I don't know. I don't go out that much, so.
They still have them in movie theaters.
Okay, well, they're not as cheap, probably, though.
Oh, no, it's like $7.
Probably, yeah. They were cheap as shit when I was a kid, too. It was, like, super cheap. But in many of those photos, Ramos posed with the boys with his arm draped around them or hugging them. Yeah. It's not great.
Now, during a 2.5-hour interrogation, Ramos did admit that some of the boys in the photos did look like Etan. He also pronounced his name wrong. I mean, even worse than me or Llama would do, because he called him Etan Patz.
Which is the only thing I'm not going to judge him for.
I know. I won't judge him on that, because
losing streak pronouncing people's names this week, because I honestly thought it was Etan Patz. I mean, why would you not?
Because that is the spelling. I mean, I would think in the 2000s they would have pronounced it different at school. I don't know.
I don't know, but I'm not going to hold it against him that he didn't get the boy's name right.
I agree.
Okay, it's not that suspicious like they want to make it out to be. Everything else, yes.
So You and I would
Garbage
be
person.
suspicious as F
Oh my
because we
God,
pronounce a
yes.
lot of people's names wrong.
We do. We do. It's a problem.
Now, he claimed that he never met Etan and that none of those photos
Thank you,
were of Etan, but they were instead of a boy named Jimmy.
Hmm.
Ramos said that they were just boys that he mentored and acted as a father figure to, and that some were from New York and one boy was from New Orleans.
Who here believes that? Not me. That's who. Not me. Oh, you're a mentor, Mr. Living in a freaking drain pipe
Yeah,
sewer
I'm
home.
like, where do you take a shower to smell okay to be
Well, it
mentoring
has
and
running
near anyone?
water. It has running water, Terry.
It's dirty water.
Now, Stan Pates later said that despite reports, he and Julie were not shown the photos from the drain pipe, which bothers me. I know no parent really wants to see those, but they were reported to kind of look like Etan. And I have other reasons why I'm upset with the police, but
Yeah,
we'll just
but well,
put it as number one why
and
Llama
I'm like,
is
I'm
not happy.
holding all of that for next week.
Llama's holding number one there. They also said that the police had said that there was no connection despite the known connection to Sandy. That's right, you guys. Everything we just heard about this freaking pervert.
Mhm.
The police are like, no, it's fine. It's not the right guy. Because, sure. Anyway,
Lady
moving on.
Grady asked mentor for what? Don't know. He was just a father figure mentor. So made me think of Big Boys Club, Big Brothers Club. Not Big
Oh, Big
Brother,
Brothers.
that's a TV show, but Boys and Girls
We got to
Club.
rush this up, okay? We
Boys
got to
and
keep
Girls
going.
Club.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Now, guys, another interesting thing found in his drain pipe, I'm going to call it his drain pipe casa, was a letter from the Social Security office dated 1978. The address listed on this letter was at a residence just 6 blocks away from the Pates home on Prince Street.
Oh my gosh, look at all this circumstantial evidence. Oh my gosh. Anyway, the following summer, a detective found Jose Ramos allegedly propositioning 3 young blonde boys near an arcade on 42nd Street. And by allegedly, we mean the cop saw him unzipping his pants, and one of the kids later said that he threatened to hurt him if they didn't perform certain things on him. You can fill in the blank. You know what I'm saying. I don't know if we're actually allowed to say that. So, but anyway, so he was caught pretty red-handed at a place called
Allegedly.
Playland. Oh, there's no, well, allegedly, yes, but whatever.
Allegedly. Yeah. So a search of Ramos' bag turned up a hunting knife and more photos of young boys. And guys, this time there was a photo of Sandy Harmon's son, Bennett.
Mm-hmm.
Now, a call was made to missing persons since, once again, the photos were of boys who looked like Etan Patz. Now, Amos was charged with attempted sodomy, but the charges were dropped because the 3 boys failed to respond to the subpoena.
Just not their fault.
It's not their fault. The parents were probably trying to protect,
And
fault
numerous
there.
reasons could be. They could not
Right.
live at that address anymore. Hell, they could have
There's a lot
moved
of
because of what happened to their kid. There's a lot of things.
There's a lot of things. They may have gotten the heck out of Dodge and left the state.
It is frustrating, though, that a cop witnessed this and that wasn't enough.
I'm like, a cop saw it. Is that not enough? That's an adult. Wouldn't you think you would take one adult over 3 children's?
I mean, well,
I mean-
I don't know. I don't know if we want to really bring up that point.
I would in the 70s,
Right now,
but it's
that's
an
for sure,
adult.
but-
We don't necessarily
Mhm.
say a cop, but an adult.
I found that to be extremely shocking, and I was very annoyed about it. Now, you guys, the next year in 1983, the police finally got around to questioning Sandy Harmon. Why it took this long, I don't know. But she was given a polygraph test. And when asked if she had ever been in a car with Etan Patz and Jose Ramos at the same time, she said no. And the results of her polygraph indicated deception. Now, for reference, Stan Patz also had trouble passing the polygraph, but that is why polygraphs are not used in court because they are not really reliable. Some people bank everything on them. Police sure love to do that, but they are nowhere near as reliable as people want to think that they are. Numerous things can come into play, and it doesn't really mean a whole lot of nothing to me anyway.
Right, and that's what I think we need to remember, that a lie detector test measures physiological responses, not actual deception.
I've
That's the
seen
difference.
those like body language experts on YouTube. Y'all know who I'm talking about, but I do not care for body language experts. And here's why, because they will sit there just watching somebody, testifying or whatever and be like XYZ. And I'm like, that is literally me all day because of my anxiety. Like all day,
And
y'all
that's
are
what
going
I'm
to be thinking
saying.
I'm lying because I'm over explaining, like all my anxiety and trauma just comes out.
Exactly.
And I'm
And
like, am I always deceptive and lie? What is happening? I don't like it. Some
in
people like it, and
today's
that's fine.
time,
To each
if
their
someone
own.
tries to get you to take a polygraph test, just say no.
Just say no.
Just say no. Because
It's not
they're
gonna do
now
any
finding
favors.
out even certain meds you take, if you take anxiety meds, messes up your reactions and your heartbeat. It makes your heart, just don't do it.
Just
Okay?
don't do
Just
it.
don't do it.
Get a
Now,
lawyer. And that
get
lawyer is going to tell you not to do it.
yeah. Now, police also interviewed Sandy's young son, Bennett, separately from her. Now, guys, remember, this was in the late 70s, early 80s. Back then, you didn't have to have a parent with the child when they were being questioned. Okay. Now, after hours of interrogation, Bennett told the police that Ramos had molested him. Okay.
Mm.
When Sandy was told this, guys, she lost her mind. She was distraught and she insisted she hadn't known. And she also maintained that Ramos had never asked about Etan or her mind. He never said anything suspicious after his disappearance.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, Sandy was described by journalist Edward Klein as, quote, an alcoholic living on the margin of society, a woman whose own mother said she had a tendency to suppress things, end quote. And no charges were brought against Ramos for the alleged assault on her son. I mean, she sounds like she has her own trauma as well.
It was the 70s. Women weren't allowed to vote, have their own credit cards. Why would we
It's true.
think that she could open her mouth and say what she thought?
Fair
She
point.
was raised to be suppressed. Sorry.
Fair point.
So now, soon Ramos got his own polygraph test. It was especially worthless since the paperwork wasn't filed for it. Little administrative error. Missing persons detective Robert Shaw said everyone wanted to solve the case for the glory. Okay. And detectives were stabbing each other in the back. So basically, cops pissing contests were going on back then. Okay.
For a long time.
And when a cop gets some information, he is supposed to type in a DD5, which is a follow up report. But guys, let me tell you, the detectives on the Pates case would forget to do that because they didn't want the other guys to know what they were up to.
How convenient and wonderful. Love that.
And there wasn't a DD5. And so I'm just going to say, law enforcement, stop the pissing contest. Justice is what we're looking for. Who gives a shit who gets the glory?
Who gives a shit?
Who gives a shit? It's not like you're going to get a raise.
Well,
no,
that's not
very
true.
seldom.
You can do a shitty job and get a promotion in Massachusetts.
Well, that's if you go over to the Commonwealth.
I mean, it's not like, Anyway, so maybe that's why, despite all these coincidences and highly suspicious behavior, that the Bronx DA Mario Marola publicly dismissed Jose Ramos's involvement, which pissed a lot of people off, including Stan and Julie Pates. And me too. Thank you. Yeah. What? It's crazy.
Yeah. So we're going to go back to 1985, which was a good year. But the assistant U.S. attorney, Grabois, who considered Ramos to be the prime suspect, Grabois was looking everywhere for Ramos. And guess where he was, guys? Anyone want to guess? Ding, ding, ding.
Anybody? Anybody?
He was in a Pennsylvania prison. And you guess what, guys? For child molestation.
Oh my goodness. Shock Pikachu.
Don't bring poor Pikachu into it.
Yes, you guys. Ramos was linked to the Pennsylvania rainbow family of the living light, which is a whole different rabbit hole. Go down by yourself. We're not doing it today.
I'll give you a little snippet.
Yeah, just a little bit, but you can go do your own.
Yeah, it's
own research on them. But it was there where he attended and was removed twice in the 1980s for being a gross, disgusting piece of shit. I mean, that wasn't the actual reason, but it's pretty much, I summed it up for you. He was convicted of molesting an 8-year-old boy at a gathering in Pennsylvania. Now, Rainbow Elder Barry Adams helped to identify and convict Jose Ramos. Ramos served a 20-year prison sentence in the State Correctional Institution in Dallas, Pennsylvania for child molestation. So he eventually does get locked up, and it's just crazy.
Yeah. Now, I had never heard of the Rainbow Family of the Living Light, so I had to go look it up. Okay. I had to, because I thought it was a church. I thought it was going to be a cult, and I was so wrong. So here's what the official thing is.
It's kind of called.
The Pennsylvania Rainbow Family of the Living Light refers to the Rainbow Family of Living Light, a counterculture group that hosts a yearly large-scale gathering in the Allegheny National Forest in Pennsylvania. The group is a loosely organized collective of people focused on peace, love, and spiritual expression who come together to create a temporary, non-commercial community in a national forest. Now, guys.
Sounds like a cult, Terry.
I say cult, but they only meet once a year. Can you be a cult if you meet once a year?
Of course. Of course.
Okay, then they're a cult.
They're totally a cult.
Now, this will just tell you they're bad.
They suck, you guys. They suck.
Found themselves in child molestation scandals, which got detailed in Vanity Fair. Okay, so we're just going to leave it there. And we're just going to say it was Ramos's type of people.
Oh, yeah, it was. I don't like them.
I don't either. I know you're pouring more, and I'm like, why didn't I bring the bottle in here with me?
Don't worry. Llama at 8:30 in the morning tomorrow is going to be like you. I don't want to get started on how my day is going to be tomorrow. I'm not going to get much sleep tonight, but we'll talk about it later.
That's okay. We'll all be watching you.
So by 1990, Grabois was deputized as a deputy state attorney general in Pennsylvania to help prosecute a case against Ramos for, again, you guessed it, sexually abusing children. Man, what a guy. What a mentor this guy was.
Guys, they do it once, they do it twice.
Yeah. And they don't stop. No matter how much you want to convince yourself that they do, they don't. It never happens. Anyway, Grabois also hoped that this would help him obtain more information about Etan's case.
Now, when he was first questioned by Grabois, Ramos stated that on the day when Etan disappeared, he had taken a young boy back to his apartment and touched him inappropriately. He claimed after the boy said, I quote, wasn't interested, Ramos walked him to the 8th Avenue subway and sent him on his way to his aunt.
Again, that's pretty good circumstantial evidence, but okay. Now, Ramos also said that he was 90% sure it was the boy whom he later saw on television. As a matter of fact, when asked for more details about the boy's appearance, Ramos' replies referenced Etan. For example, when asked how tall the boy was, Ramos responded, well, how tall was Etan Patz? He even said that the boy could have been Etan Patz. Yeah, you guys, this is what he is telling Grabois.
And
Hello?
guys, the FBI looked into it. There were no other reported disappearances or sexual assaults of a young boy that day. Now, that's not to say that a young boy didn't tell.
True.
Not to say that. But
No
yeah.
reporting. Oh, thank you for the super sticker
Thank
on Top
you.
X. Thank you. I'm going to need that for all the coffee in the morning. And Red
I'm
Bulls.
like,
oh my goodness.
yeah, no, you just need to start with midday Moscato.
Cap,
the
oh, I
coffee.
didn't even notice that, Captain, in this picture.
Oh, did you
Look at
not
this
notice
picture.
that?
No, it says, imagine, for our listeners, imagine having a courtroom sketch of yourself framed. That's a boss right there. And this guy indeed does have a courtroom, which is good. A good courtroom sketch, by the way. That's impressive. Love that. Where were we? Oh, yeah. So in 1991, when Ramos was incarcerated, a jailhouse informant told Grabois and the FBI agent Mary Galligan that Ramos had told him he knew what happened to Etan. Ramos even drew a map of Etan's school bus routes, indicating that he knew that Etan's bus stop was the third one on the route. Okay.
I'm holding it all in for next week. I'm really trying to hold it all in for next week. Okay.
So
Now,
infuriating.
every year on Etan's birthday and the anniversary of his disappearance, Etan Patz sent Ramos a copy of his son's missing child poster. And on the back, he typed the same message. What did you do to my little boy?
Yeah. In a special feature on missing children, the New York Post reported on October 21st, 1999, that's 30 years, 20 years.
We don't do math here at True Crime Wine Time.
It's 20 years. That Ramos was the prime suspect in Etan's disappearance. And it makes sense why he would be. Hello? I mean, how many flashing light signs do you need about this freaking guy?
I mean, my criminal board would have him on there.
Oh, yeah. I'd
And
put
it would
his
have red
face
flags all
on
over
Times
him.
Square. That's what I would be doing. His face goes up there. Tell everyone, stay away from this guy. He sucks. He's a horrible human being. Now, Ramos, though, has always denied that he killed Etan, and no charges were ever brought against him because, according to the Manhattan DA's office, they declined to prosecute Ramos because of the, quote, absence of physical evidence. Now, make sure you all put a pin in that right there for when we get to part 2 of the story. Remember, they didn't want to prosecute this guy with all the red flags because there's no physical evidence.
It is so hard to not go there. Okay.
Oh, it's so hard. I've been writing it all day, so it is fresh.
Oh, I know. I was in it and I'm like, oh, Terry, yeah. Don't bring that into tonight. Now, Etan's body was never found. Okay. He was declared legally dead on June 19th, 2001. Stan and Julie Pates filed a lawsuit against Ramos in New York State Court for wrongful death. Ramos refused to answer questions under oath because, anyway. In 2004, the court ordered a judgment in favor of the Pates and awarded them $2 million in damage, which, guys, we know they're never going to collect.
No.
That face, I'm sorry, every time I look at it.
He's so cute. So cute. And yeah, no, they were never going to collect that money. Okay. But Ramos, you guys, was released from the Pennsylvania prison on November 7th, 2012. And also remember that date for later. November 7th, 2012. Because 2012 is a big old year. Look at that. Oh, God. Look at that guy.
That
This fucking Santa beard face. Ugh, I hate that so much. Sorry, listeners. You should be on our YouTube channel looking at this picture of this guy, knowing what
I
he
hate to
does.
say this. I try not to be overly judgmental on appearances.
I am.
Run if you see that look.
I
Run.
am.
Run.
Anyway, so he was released from prison in 2012, only to be immediately arrested on a Megan's Law violation. Now, see, when you're a sex offender, you have to tell the police where you're going to be staying. And he said he'd be living with a cousin in the Bronx, but it turned out that address was incorrect. And the cousin had no interest in having him as a house guest. Can't blame them.
Good cousin.
And good for them. Yeah. But he was eventually released during the COVID-19 pandemic. Ooh. And the sex offender registry shows that his current address is in the Philippines. And if you know, it's a place a lot of people like this like to go to.
And the Philippines states they don't let in sex offenders.
There you go. There you go. There he is.
There's the problem there.
Yeah. Ask yourself, how did he get into the Philippines?
Yeah.
Do they know? Do they know?
They probably don't.
Because this guy is, I hate that he even got out.
My very first time I went to the Philippines, because I've been there for business, they didn't even check my passport. They just opened it and stamped it. Didn't even look. I could have been using your passport, Lama, and they would have never noticed.
Wow.
So there's also a disturbing allegation from Ramos's childhood. He was accused by his brother, Ronaldo, of him being sexually abusing him when he was a boy. Now, guys, however, we're going to say the brother's not a totally reliable witness, okay? Because he was charged of child molestation as well. And guys, it's not unheard of for abuse victims to become abusers themselves. It's not the norm or the status quo. It does happen.
It does happen, but it's... Oh, that's his brother. Oh, good. I'm so glad we're putting these fuck faces pictures up for everybody to fucking see.
Yeah, you see them, run.
Run. Keep your children away from these people. Keep them away. Anyway, for what it's worth, here is the claim. Ronaldo Ramos told Florida cops after his own May 2001 arrest for sexually assaulting 4 boys that his older brother abused him as a child, as written in a document from the Broward County Sheriff's Department. So this is in the record.
Right. Now, Ronaldo's first, he made a spontaneous statement regarding how his brother killed that Etan Patz, the document states, okay, adding that Ronaldo told them that he had learned his sibling was a suspect while reading an article in a magazine at the library. Guys, I don't think he looks like a guy that's hanging out in the library. Just saying. No. Now, Ronaldo then said it reminded him of himself because he was the same age as Patz when his brother molested him.
That's pretty convincing. Just saying.
Yeah.
Well, when Ronaldo Ramos was approximately 10 years old, Jose Ramos took him behind a White Castle and forced Ronaldo to perform oral deeds on him and a friend. The document says, quoting Ronaldo's interview with officers, when Ronaldo resisted, Jose Ramos slammed a large rock on the top of his head, knocking him out. And you guys, if you don't believe that, well, guess what? Ronaldo then showed the detectives a scar on his right forehead area. At least that's what the document says. I mean, I don't know why we don't believe this guy. I mean, they're both pieces of shit.
I think say,
like, it makes sense. It does.
It does. I
It
mean,
seems plausible. It seems reasonable. This guy's not gaining anything. His brother's not even being charged or
right.
arrested for this. So, what would be the point of
Yeah,
lying?
agreed. Now, on May 25th, 2010, Manhattan District Attorney Cyrus Vance Jr. officially reopened Etan Patz's case. And on April 19th, 2012, the FBI and the NYPD investigators began excavating the SoHo basement of 127B Prince Street, which was near the Patz's home.
Yes, this residence had been newly refurbished shortly after Etan's disappearance in 1979. So that's a big decade jump there, but important to know. And we'll definitely get into this more in the second episode,
Yeah.
I promise. Okay. And the basement had been the workshop and a storage space of a handyman, the handyman that gave Etan that dollar that we talked about earlier. Now, though, after a 4-day search, investigators announced that there was nothing conclusive found. The handyman, Othniel Miller, had been questioned by detectives for the whole previous year, but he denies having to do anything with his disappearance. But as I said, we will explore Othniel Miller more in part 2.
Yeah.
So,
Now, almost 2 years to the day, on May 24th, 2012, New York Police Commissioner Raymond Kelly announced that a man was in custody who had implicated himself in Etan's disappearance.
also, I want to know that's the day before what? National Missing
National
Children's Day, the
Day.
day Etan disappeared.
Uh-huh.
Coincidence?
It
Coincidence, guys?
Yeah, I I I I'm that person that tries to give people the benefit of the doubt,
I don't.
but it doesn't necessarily pass the sniff test to
Mm-mm,
me.
mm-mm.
But a law enforcement official identified the man as 51-year-old Pedro Hernandez of Maple Shade, New Jersey, and said that Hernandez had confessed.
Yeah. And interestingly, the whole world collectively asked, who the fuck is Pedro Hernandez? Because it's been 40 years. Who is this guy? Now, with that, that is where we're going to end the story right there. I know, listeners, you're so mad at me right now, but you're going to have to listen to part 2
That's right.
because Terry and I are going to rant a lot, okay, you guys, because this is bad news bears.
Next
What
week,
happens?
I'm going to have to pregame. I'm going to have a full glass before because it's,
We may have to dedicate a whole episode to our rants.
yeah, it's bad.
I'm
Now,
very, very upset. I'm so upset.
oh, it is. But before we go, we're not just going to jump off here, okay?
No.
We
That's just
do
where we're
want to
putting a
take,
pin in the story.
yes, we do want to take a few minutes to talk about how Etan's case changed law enforcement's response to missing children and the countless lives that I believe have been saved because of his disappearance and the changes that have come about.
Agreed. Each year, approximately 460,000 children are reported missing. Each year, you guys, based on
That
data from the
is a
Global
problem.
Missing Children's Network, which averages to several thousand cases per day. Many missing children are found, and partially due to the reforms following Etan Patz's 1979 disappearance. Oh, it's always the stuff that really chokes me up when something horrible happens and good things just come
Well,
out.
to help enlighten you a little bit, the reason why the change comes about, law enforcement gets together when big events like this happen. They do what is called, oh my God, it just popped out of my head, a debrief meeting to talk
Yeah,
about what went wrong, what they could have been done better, and what they learn to help in the future. And all of it's documented. So I try to think every time a bad tragedy happens, I try to hold on to think, okay, think of what's going to come out of this to maybe prevent it from happening or help us get past it. Now, Pates was one of the first milk carton kids, okay, appearing on milk cartons to help find missing children. Now, it was a method that was later criticized for its limited effectiveness, according to the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. However, they do say it paved the way for improved efforts for like the Amber Alert system in 1996. But I want to tell you guys, I lived in Houston, Texas. I saw flyers with this milk carton kid photo. So I have a problem with the fact that they say it wasn't widespread enough.
Well, why was this so criticized? Because of its limited, at least it was
'Cause
something. It was something
exactly.
that wasn't there
But they're
before.
criticizing it now because we now live in a 24/7
Ugh,
media society, and we don't stop to think, okay, we're talking about 1979. We didn't have
I
cell
keep my
phones.
opinions to myself.
So I do not approve of that criticism, and I am a huge advocate, supporter
Honestly, I think anything
of
you're
them.
doing that's advocating for finding missing people, who gives a shit?
Exactly.
Who gives
It's
a shit?
something. It's
If
better
you're
than
not out
nothing.
there doing it yourself and you're just sitting over here playing on
Yeah.
your keyboard, go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
I don't have any social media, so you can't really come after me, but go fuck yourself if that's a problem. I
And
don't care.
And I mean, it was something. The only problem I have with this picture, and y'all can come at me later, why people think they have to eat cookies with milk. But we're just going to go on because that is just disturbing in itself.
Oh, now that's where the hate
Weird.
comments are going to come.
Come
I hope
on
you
at
know
me,
that. It's going to
people.
be about the cookies and milk, not
Why?
about llama.
Get a glass of water, a soda.
Now, another was to educate children with the dangers of being taken. Now, this is one I can kind of criticize here, but also I don't think it should be criticized because it's important too.
It
Now,
is. It's what we knew at the time.
one such program was the international program known as Stranger Danger, which was created by the Global Children's Fund nonprofit organization. And I have my qualms with it, but again, it was the first of its kind and
And it was
bringing awareness to
something.
these things. It was important.
It was
Okay.
something.
Wasn't perfect. Wasn't entirely accurate,
Right.
but it did help. So what do I have to say about that? Who cares?
Now, Stranger Danger warns that unknown adults may pose risk to children. Now, guys, this message was and is widely taught through books, films, and public service announcements. The primary target of Stranger Danger campaign is child sexual abuse rather than kidnapping for ransom kind of thing. But media coverage has increased public anxiety by presenting strangers as potential pedophiles. Guys, evidence shows that child sexual abuse occurs more often within families or people you know. It's
Every
not
day in this
at
country,
random
60
stranger.
kids
Sorry.
disappear. Some run away, but a lot are kidnapped by strangers or even by people they know. Almost 20,000
You
kids.
guys remember this?
20,000 kids, one kid at a time. Maybe your kid on your street, just like Jenny.
Oh boy, what a time to be alive.
I mean, rough a gruff. Oh my God, there it is. Elbow feet said what I was getting ready to say. It's 10 p.m. Do you know where your children are?
Tibian, do you know where your children are?
Right. And I get it was a knee-jerk reaction to things that happened. But
Yeah.
you know what? I would rather you do something and maybe it's wrong and you make a mistake than sit back and not do a damn thing.
No, I don't even think they did anything wrong necessarily. It's just they
I mean,
neglected the part that most of it comes from people you know.
right.
But
But
it
I
was
don't know.
also
We didn't have statistics then. We didn't have all the mathy math then.
that's true. Well, people, it wasn't talked about, you guys. It's a whole different time. Whole different. The fact that people are even talking about bad shit happening to kids like this, brand new, really. It seemed like. Now, as a result of actual statistical data that I was talking about in the early 2000s, these campaigns adapted to place greater emphasis on the risk posed by individuals known to the child while still educating children and parents on the need to be wary of strangers. Because And again, I'm not knocking the stranger danger, because guess what? In the modern time, we still do that. How do we do that? With our kids and the internet. I tell my kid, my little llama, all the time, you don't know these people on the internet. They are strangers. Do not tell them anything. Do not give them any information. They are stranger danger. We just look at it differently now in our modern time, but it still applies. So I don't criticize stranger danger too bad.
I will tell you, monkey butt. Those of you that have been here, that is my granddaughter. She was 6 or 7, and we were at Walmart, and somebody said hello to her, and she goes, "Stranger danger."
Wow.
And the gentleman, he was an older man, he was probably like 90. He looked at her and he goes, "Oh," and he introduced himself with his name and told what military branch he'd been part of, and he was a veteran. He goes, "And now I'm not a stranger." And she goes, "Danger, danger."
Danger.
I think of it still to this day because I'm like, hey, if something feels off, just because they introduce themselves does not mean they're no longer a stranger.
Yeah. But and law enforcement's response to missing children has also changed. It's not still not the greatest, but it is significantly without a doubt much different than at least I think it is. I don't know. You're the one with the missing people show, so
I mean,
maybe I'm not one to speak on that. But
now, in 1979, police in New York City had a limited ability to communicate with other law enforcement agencies about the case. Guys, that was not just New York. That was everywhere. Everything was on paper. Cops wrote things down in their notebooks. So let's not slam them. They didn't have databases and stuff. Now, while the tools in place today help quickly find and rescue missing children, it's more of a commonplace that you have those, including national and international registries for missing young people and emergency abduction alerts. At the time of Etan's disappearance, the landscape for missing and abducting children, they want to say it was less coordinated. Guys, it was non-existent.
Right.
It was non-existent. It's not like you could just get back in your squad car and pick up your cell phone and call Queens.
Well, hell, I mean, we just learned that even within its own precinct, it was a
They
dick
had
swinging
pissing contest.
Like they were going to call another precinct? Get out of here.
Yeah. So.
Oh, boy. All right. Well, I think with that, let's get to our closing thoughts for this show because we're a little past, but
yeah,
that's okay. It's your first show back, and what a banger we started out with, right? So
yeah,
I'll go first with my closing thoughts for part 1 here. Now, this case, I didn't really know too much about it. I knew the basics, but that was about it until I saw an article a couple months ago, or literally a month ago, which you'll learn about in the next episode. And I was like, holy shitballs, I'm going to need to learn more about this. But I can tell you, in researching this case brings out a spectrum of feelings for me. Child cases are always the worst. Their lives ended before they even had a chance to begin them. And many of them having to see the darkest side of humanity and what they have to offer before they pass on. And I think that is truly one of the saddest, most appalling things ever. Now, I also sit here and wonder, like, what would Etan have grown up to be like? He'd be, I don't know how old right now because I'm not the best at math. So somebody do the math for me, but he would be like in his 60s.
He's 2 years younger than me. So I just turned 55. So he would
50s.
only been 53. Don't you try to put me at 60, biatch.
Hey,
he would be 53 currently.
Either way, he would have been a grown man. And what would he have become? Would he become a comic book author and write the adventures of Johnny France America? Because I hope so. I hope he would have. I hope in a different alternate reality, that's exactly what he grew up to do. Because in this reality, it was very unfair. Very unfair what happened to him, and would him and little Jeff Limbeck still be besties 46 years later. Those are the things that I don't know these people, but I still think about that, and then I get pissed about Jose Ramos. All right. And how that guy was able to reap havoc on lives of numerous children across America. I know he only got charged for some of them, but we all know. All right. Allegedly, I'm going to theorize there were numerous children well before he ever got in trouble.
Oh, and he hasn't stopped.
No, absolutely
he hasn't
not.
stopped. You don't just wake up one day and
how many charges? There were numerous charges we didn't even mention that were brought against him, but then dropped because the victims didn't testify, which I'm not judging them. These are young children. They were boys, which was very taboo.
That would have been,
very taboo. I mean, look what they did with the Menendez, and that was the early 90s, let alone in the 70s and 80s. Get out of here. And I don't know. That guy is in the Philippines, and I hope no more children are harmed because of him. But if he's still walking this earth, I guarantee you there are still children being harmed because of that man. And I'm not ashamed to say that. And I must say, knowing what happens next in this story fills me with disappointment and rage that perhaps justice was never truly had for sweet little Etan Patz, and that his family is having to endure all of this pain for all of these years. The wounds ripping open again and again every couple of years, even now as recently as July 2025. So
he was 2 years younger than me. He was born 2 years after me. That is my entire life that this family has had to deal with this. That's an entire lifetime, people.
And I got a lot of opinions about the next portion here.
Problem.
I think many of you will.
F-bomb. It's a problem. Now, this case has always haunted me. Like I said, I was 9 when he went missing. And I saw his face on a milk carton flyer. Guys, I was that obnoxious kid. I told my mom, I was like, I don't ever want to be that kid on the milk carton, Mom. And it wasn't because I hated milk, because I don't drink milk, never have, never will. It scared me.
I'm sure.
That this kid just disappeared. Okay. So needless to say, it never left me. And then when you guys wanted to cover it, I was like, it brought up a lot of stuff, but I believe in my heart that his disappearance has helped change so many things about missing kids. So I try to look at that. Okay. I also think his face being on a milk carton made everyone stop and think, oh shit, that could be my kid. That could be my reality. And in my case, it was like, oh shit, that could be me. And it made us realize that children are not always safe. And guys, I do midday missing. It's not just children. It's not just children. Okay. But children are the innocents. They are the innocents. They are not making decisions that cause this to happen. Domino effect. And unfortunately, there are bad people out there who want to take and hurt kids. So this case breaks my heart. But I also think talking about this case, we help honor him and how we can keep advocating for a safer world for children.
Agreed.
So, let's wrap up because, So, like I mentioned at the top, you can join me at CC Wine and Company for that live podcast recording. Because, like I said, we're uncorking the chilling details behind Bastrop's most infamous murder. I mean, I knew about this case before I moved to Austin. So I knew about this when I lived in Houston. So it is a big deal. Tickets are now on sale. But if you are one of our members on YouTube, you get to watch the live stream yourself. And because Double H will be there to do the audio, we should have really good audio.
Really good audio this time. I love that. Now, you guys, before we go, if you like what you heard tonight, please be sure to follow us on all of our socials and subscribe to our YouTube channel. It is free. Or if you're listening to our podcast, please follow, download, give us a rating, review, whatever, whichever platform you're on, that whatever they ask for. Just do that, because all of that helps us tremendously in getting our channel out there. And again, it's free. So please.
Yes.
Not
And
that I want
guys,
to
don't
beg you.
hate us. But next week, we're going to be covering part 2 of this story. Okay. And we're going to focus on Pedro Hernandez, the man that eventually was convicted for the murder of Etan. But guys, it's not as simple. It's black and white, pink or red as it seems.
No.
Because, I mean, is he even the real killer? And guess what? You're going to have to join us to find out.
And I can promise you, there will be numerous Lamela rants. Like, I am already ready to rant right now.
I'm already ready to rant.
But I will hold off till next Thursday. Now, if you need more of Terry True Crime and I, you can always find us doing something on our True Crime and Wine Time YouTube channel while Terry is making her way back to the screen. Today was her first big night. She is doing things in baby steps, so there will be no midday missing until September 1st. But I almost forgot, tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central, we are having a 2,000 subscriber celebration party show. I don't know what we're doing. Somebody's going to plan it while I'm sitting here in court all day tomorrow. But it's going to be a great time. It's for everyone. So make sure you come. Bring your party pants, your party drinks. It's going to be a good time.
And bring your ideas, because Adelson starts tomorrow.
Yes. Speaking of, you guys, Couch Court with Llama is back. And we are geared up for our next live trial coverage, which is Florida versus Donna Adelson. I'm going to pronounce names right this week.
She's a POS. I do not care if you pronounce her name right. Just call her Donna.
That's right. It starts tomorrow morning. I will be live at 8:45 a.m. Eastern for the next 2 weeks. Until like 5 or 5:30 in the afternoon. It's going to be great. No, it is going to be such a highly entertaining trial, you guys. If you don't know it, the witnesses are characters themselves. We got a family murder conspiracy. Oh my goodness. It is something. And you know, if you're unsure who the Adelsons are, I did a catch-up stream this week as we were waiting for the jury to be selected. They were selected tonight at 6:30 around there. I watched it all day. It was crazy. So be sure to check that out and get caught up. I do say their names wrong. That's fine. Leave a comment if you want to. It's been a week. Okay. It's been a week. People should spell their names how they're pronounced. That's my only PSA for the day. But anyway, go check that out. Who knows? Maybe even some of my besties and others might join me for this trial. So you never know who might be on with me at any given time. Now, if you haven't yet, please like this video, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss when we go live or drop a new episode. And Terry, is there anything you would like to say before we go and sign off?
I feel more human today than I have in probably 7 weeks. I mean, I know I just had surgery 3 weeks ago, but we also know there was kidney stones, a tooth, all in that in there. I am so happy to be back. And I am just very grateful for everybody who held the fort down and did all of this stuff. And I'm glad I'm up so I can watch the Adelson trial, because Donna, I need her to give down. I need her to get down. I mean, I'm a matriarch, but I'm sorry. She gives matriarch a bad name.
I'll just say this, if whoever's listening, even if you're not very into trials, if you were into the Karen Reed trial, this trial too is also going to be spicy. Maybe not the same issues, but just as equally like, what? Yeah. What is happening right now? It's a lot of that.
It is. I mean, it's going to be just like with Charlie's. It's like, did that really just happen?
Yeah.
Am I watching TV? Is this a fiction drama. No, it was real.
I mean, even today watching jury selection was entertaining. I didn't go live with it because I had a lot of stuff I need to get done since I'm going to be sitting here in this chair every day for like the next 2 weeks. But his lawyer, or our lawyer, I mean, Donna's lawyer, he seems like a really nice guy, but both him and the prosecution sounded like they were teaching Law 101 to the jurors. It was very interesting. So I'm excited.
I can't wait for tomorrow.
I'm excited about it. So, well, I'm so glad you're back, Terry. I know everyone else as well. We are so happy. You're irreplaceable. Okay. You're irreplaceable. I know I'm tired of holding things up. So I'm glad you're back.
Yeah. So I appreciate it. I'm back. And now I will start picking up my slack that you picked up. But I will say, it's perfect timing for the trial starting tomorrow. And we have our 2,000 subscribers.
I know.
So it's going to be a full day, but what a Friday to kick off the weekend.
Oh my God. I just realized I'm going to be streaming for like 14 hours.
That's what I said. You might want to start, maybe mix. Just get the coffee, put the Kahlua in it and the Carolans or Baileys up until maybe 1 o'clock and then start the midday Moscato.
Well, I just found out that Big Brother is doing the wall comp, which is an endurance competition. They could be on that wall for hours. So I, of course, have to watch that. So.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, I unfortunately am still recovering. I will be going to bed.
All right. Well, thank you everyone for listening and supporting us. It means the world to us. Until next time, take care of your mind, take care of each other, and never stop asking the hard questions. And until next time, go forth and be amazing. Bye, everybody.
And guys, just stay safe.
Or not.
Watch out for crime. But most importantly, if you see something, say something.
Perfect.
And enjoy your wine.
Okay. Are we good now?
Yes.
All right. Bye, everybody. Have a good night.